Bitcoin to 74,000, then back down to 42. Is it really on? That's what this video is about today, guys. So, as with all my videos, I'm just here to try and help. I do a lot of research and I'm just going to show you exactly what I've been finding out so you can make hopefully an informed decision. In fact, better than that, serve as a platform for you to then go and do further research, because I can't begin to tell you how much it's going to make a difference on your bull run if you have conviction in what is most likely to happen. Of course, no one actually knows, which is why we do all this shit, isn't it? So, but in today's episode, if you like, I'm going to be presenting the case for 74k, exactly where I found this out, and then why the drop. You're going to get also a second opinion in the short term. Got a good clip for you on that front. But also a criticism I notice in comments is that sometimes YouTubers focus on technical analysis too much, and I think this is fair. We also need to be aware of what is actually happening. So I'll be presenting what the things were to look out for this week and what the results were, so you can also take that into consideration. And then finally, we're going to also be looking at the big decision maker, or the key thing that we're going to know whether we're going further up or down. And that is massive. And if you're not aware of that, it's going to pay you back in spades. So this is an episode you do not want to miss. It may be a lengthy one, this one, but one worth sticking around for. So I recommend you get a cuppa and sit back, relax and enjoy this. But before we just dig into it, I just want to say that some of you will have seen the video I did recently on HBAR, and thankfully I could tell that most of you, or my audience, have a good degree of intellect, because there's only the minority giving me the predictable paper hands bullshit. It wasn't at all. It was a calculated decision based on the data I knew at that time. Now, of course, if I wouldn't have sold, would I be in a better position? Yeah, but I wasn't to know that. Do I have any regrets? No, I don't. Because, and for those, again, if you happen to be watching, I'll just say again that the purpose of that was that that money will return me a better yield elsewhere. And it's already starting to. And this is what... And this is not to have a go at anybody. The reason I'm stipulating this is because it's important to continuously do our research, understand what we think is on the cards, and then react, because that is the best we can do. And if this does play out and you get conviction, please consider taking some profits, because even if you've got a small budget and you were to take $2,000 off and this happens, you're back into 30x, maybe more territory. So that could be an extra 60 grand. And, you know, that's a significant amount of money for most. So I just want to bear that in mind and clear that up. Now let's crack on. So this is where I got the 74k from. You find him on Twitter, Captain Fabiak, if I pronounce that correctly. Again, so BTC, descending channel upside breakout, is already confirmed on the hourly chart. 74 is incoming. And you can see here, this is his gist on what is likely to happen. But here you can see we're in this triangle here and we're bouncing, and what he's saying is we're looking like this. I assume this is therefore around about the 74 he's on about, and then we're going to go down a whopping 45%. What does 45% work out at? Well, the exact number I believe is 40.6k. The reason I stipulated 42 in the video is because of resistance levels. So let's take a look. So here you can see we're around about the 42, and then the region will come down to about 38. So if his prediction is right, this is where we could be retracing to, which is obviously huge, a huge drop. And the higher we go, the more likely significant drops on the cards. Do I know that we're going to go? Of course, no one knows where we're going to go. Let's just get that crystal clear. No one knows how high we're going to go, and no one knows how low we're going to go. But by taking on board key info, we can start making decisions that will help us as best we can to get to the right decision and prepare ourselves for what's coming, and that's what's important. So I'm just going to play you this clip. Check out what this guy's got to say.
From what I'm seeing right now, also on the higher time frames, I believe that is just another stop loss hunt and shakeout for everybody that came late to the party here on the move up in terms of long positions. So they are trying to shake these people out. And as you can see, we are bouncing here already. Afterwards, we should get here a move back to at least $66,000 today at some point or over the weekend. And I believe that over the next couple hours or over the weekend, we are going to see a move like this here, at least to $69,000 over the next 2-3 days-ish. But here comes the really important part of it. Even if we get this move, and Bitcoin cannot reclaim that level by Monday, we should become really, really cautious here, because there has to happen a short squeeze over the next 2-3 days. And if that is not the case, then the higher time frames are again exhausted, and it means that we should prepare ourselves for a deeper pullback, potentially all the way back to like $62,000. Again, I'm not expecting this. I expect a move to the upside here because a lot of things are pointing to it, but always have a plan B in the back of your hand. So if we get a move here above $69,000, we're going to move here really quickly also above $73,000, and I'm going to show.
So there you go. Another insight into what Captain was saying. It does appear, therefore, you've got two different people. Of course, there's going to be God knows how many different people doing this kind of shit, but I'm just giving you two examples that it does appear, based on technical analysis at least, that 73 is potentially on, or 74, around about that mark. Now, that brings us to the next bit, which is, what were the things to look out for this week? 'Cause it's not just about technical analysis, is it? Let's take a look. So, check out what this guy's got to say.
Outside, and especially as the next 7 days are going to be absolutely vital for Bitcoin. Now we have so much decisions coming out from different governments and different federal banks. Okay, so first on Tuesday you have the Bank of Japan interest rate decision. This one is huge. You also have Australia interest rate decision. You have the economic sentiment index from Germany. You have the inflation for Canada. So Tuesday is a huge day in itself. Okay, huge day. And also on Monday, you have some important data coming out from China. So retail sales year over year. So how is the economy doing in China? So Monday, Tuesday, very important events. And then on Wednesday, you have the inflation rate for Great Britain as well. So they are going to post that. Also the United States, you have not only the Fed interest rate decision, you have the FOMC economic projections. So what is this? Well, basically, 4 times every year, the Fed gives you the projections for what they think is going to happen with the economy. You can see this little star here. So this is one of the meetings where they're going to give you that economic projection. The next one is going to be in June. So that is going to have a big impact on the sentiment of the market, depending on the projections the Fed has moving forward. And then you have also the Fed press conference on Wednesday here. So massive day on Wednesday as well. Not only that, on Thursday, you will then have the Bank of England interest rate decision, as well as some other very important data. Then you have on Friday inflation rate for Japan, as well as retail sales for Great Britain and some data.
Okay, so you get the gist. He was forecasting all the different important things. So I thought it'd be interesting to have a look at how these played out. Obviously, it's been recorded on Friday. I think I've got the majority of them anyway, so let's just have a quick skivvy, see how this all panned out. So Bank of Japan interest rate, they raised its short-term interest rates around 0 to 0.1 from minus 0.1. So is that really going to make that much of a difference? I think not. Australia interest rate decision, interest rates will stay at 4.35% for the second time. Okay, not budged. All right, so that was Australia. So here we're looking at Canada. So 3 days ago, Canada's inflation rate slowed 2.8% in February, being for the second month in a row. But I couldn't find anything in terms of this week on this one. It's all about February. or March here, the Bank of Canada held its benchmark interest rate at 5%. So it appears, again, another country, nothing's really moving. So year-on-year sales for China. Retail sales in China increased 5.5% in February 2024, the same as the previous year. So I'm assuming that the past month are coming out in the next month, is in March, so that would make sense. So retail sales year on year in China averaged 12.47%, and you can see it up here, previous was 7.22. So what's that telling us? Their economy is growing, so that's obviously a good thing, which bodes well for sentiment for Bitcoin. What about the UK? UK inflation falls to 3.4% in Feb from 4%. Another good sign. Now, he made reference to the FOMC economic projections being quite important, didn't he? So FOMC members also revised their estimate for how fast the economy will grow, with a 2.1% increase in gross domestic product seen this year, up from 1.4. So again, more bullish if you like to use crypto terms, or positive news. What about retail sales year on year for UK? Well, they're at 0.7%, not fantastic, but that's compared to minus 2.4 last month and minus 5.6 in the last year. So again, more positive news. Interest rates of Bank of England, they left it as well. So another country leaving interest rates as they are, not putting them up. About the States, most of you guys are in there, you already know this, but they, just like the UK and the other aforementioned countries, did not raise them. So all this, for me, and I'm no economic genius, but that seems to bode well for me. So far it's looking pretty good that we could be going up, to me, at this stage. But we are not out of the woods. So I'm just going to play this clip. Have a listen to this. If you're not new to the channel, you've heard me rave on about Steve before. If you've not already subscribed, he's the number one person, I do mean number one, I believe you should be listening to. Have a listen to this.
Stone Doji candle is found at the tops of rally. It has a large wick to the upside. It has a thin body and little or no wick at the bottom. By definition, a Gravestone Doji candle represents a strong trend reversal, meaning price was going up. Guess what it's going to start doing? Going down. You may say, well, hasn't it already gone back down, Steve? We crashed from 73 down to whatever it was, 62. No. This candle has the power of the next several candles, okay? If Bitcoin were to close our monthly candle, keep in mind, this Gravestone Doji has not printed. Let's be fascinatingly clear about that. This has not printed yet. This is a monthly chart. So is the month of March over yet? No. So we haven't printed this candle yet. If it were to close around where it is now, big trouble. Much bigger than you've seen so far. However, if Bitcoin were to get up and close up into the 65, 66 area, we have a bearish candle, but not nearly as powerful. If Bitcoin were to close potentially around the 61,000, 61,500, it could be even worse, right? So we're going to keep you updated on this monthly candle.
So there you go, guys. If you're not privy to that before now, you should have just had a bit of an epiphany, and you should be going to TradingView and make sure you've got BTC on it and watching that like a hawk. Obviously, it's not just the monthly. Look at it this Sunday, see how that's looking. You know, the same thing applies, but the end of the month is the big one. So we've looked today at both the kind of short term, but also I'm kind of looking forward to it really, to see which way we're going to go. And I think the reason I'm looking forward to it is that I'm comfortable with whichever way it goes, which brings me back to a final point actually. I think you should just make sure that you have fiat on one side, ready to scoop up some crypto if it comes down. It sounds obvious, but I know there's some people that are all in and they've got absolutely nothing left, you know. So I just think it's important to prepare for both scenarios, and also don't try and catch a falling knife. Make sure you're not just going in all in just as soon as it dips and you think that's it, because to be honest, wanting for a better expression, you just fuck yourself. So I'm doing well. There's only one F word in this video. Anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed this one and got stuff out of it, and if you did and you learned something and you appreciate this kind of content, then why don't you just give it a little like and a subscribe, yeah, and then I can bring you more of this. It really does help and it motivates me to bring you more. Alright, have a good weekend.